Hey guys, back again today, this time with a concise review of Jonathan Cahn's recent book, The Dragon's Prophecy. Now, I had previously read Cahn's book, The Harbinger. I did not even know who Jonathan Cahn is for the longest time, but my stepmom had read The Harbinger, and she thought that I would probably find it interesting, and so she sent it to me, and she was right. I did, in fact, find it quite interesting. I particularly was impressed with the way that he was able to tie together the prophetic words of the Bible with modern events and just the way that he was able to make connections there. Also, because he's Jewish, he is able to come at things from a distinctly Jewish perspective that feels unique. So I read The Harbinger, and that was my introduction to Jonathan Cahn and his work, and I've kept an eye on him ever since. So recently, he published The Dragon's Prophecy: Israel, the Dark Resurrection, and the End of Days. That's a pretty intriguing title, I thought, and so I actually pre-ordered this book and I got it right after it was released. Now, the dragon's prophecy in question here is Revelation 12. And in this book, Cahn shines a spotlight on the conflict between the dragon and the woman in that chapter. The dragon, of course, is Satan. However, the identity of the woman has been debated throughout church history, but most theologians have come to one of three conclusions. Either the woman is the nation of Israel, the woman is the church, or the woman is the Virgin Mary. In this book, Cahn takes the position that the woman is Israel, and I have to say that the argument that he makes for this is actually pretty convincing. And building upon this interpretation, he shows how Satan has persecuted Israel throughout history, and his main contention in this book, I would say, is that the modern Palestinians, not the individual people, but the Palestinian nation as it exists today, is a kind of satanic resurrection of the Philistines. So his thesis is essentially that in the ancient times, Israel had a chief nemesis, and that nemesis was the Philistines. But just as Israel was broken apart and ceased to be an established nation in the political sense upon the earth, and the people were scattered, so too did the Philistines cease to be a nation. However, now that God has brought the Jews back into the land and Israel has been reestablished as a nation, Satan has also reestablished their ancient enemy in the form of the modern Palestinians. So what we are seeing today in the conflict between Israel and Palestine is in fact a continuation of the ancient conflict that began thousands of years ago. Now, you would have to read the book to see exactly how he supports his argument, but he quotes a lot of scripture and also goes into a lot of the history of the Middle East and the history of the conflict between the Jews and the Arabs. So, if this sounds interesting to you, and especially if you're interested in prophecy and Israel and the subject of the end times and eschatology, then I would definitely recommend the book. I would in fact say that it's more substantive than The Harbinger, and that's not a slight against The Harbinger. Like I said earlier, I really found that book fascinating. It's only to say that he does a good job here of putting a lot of information in a book that's a little less than 300 pages, but he does it in a way that never feels overwhelming. So, like I said, if the subjects of prophecy and Israel and the end times are of interest to you, and certainly if you've read any other books by Jonathan Cahn and you've enjoyed them, then definitely pick this one up. I really do think that you would find it a good and worthy addition to your collection. All right, guys, there you go. Not a long review, but hopefully a useful one. If you've already read the book or any of Jonathan Cahn's other books, feel free to leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the man and his work. Okay, guys, you know what to do. Like, subscribe. If you haven't already done so, click the bell, and I will catch you later.